बोलिए लाडली लाल की जय। श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय। एष वै भगवान् साक्षात् प्रधान पुरुषेश्वरः योगेश्वरैर्विमृग्यान्घ्रिर्लोकोऽयं मन्यते नरम्। चेतो दर्पणमार्जनं भवमहा दावाग्नि निर्वापणम्। श्रेयः कैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्या वधू जीवनम्। आनन्दाम्बुधिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृता स्वादनम्। सर्वात्मस्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्ण संकीर्तनम्। नमः कमलनाभाय नमः कमलमालिने नमः कमलपादाय नमस्ते कमलेक्षण। यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रणीनोति तस्मै तद्ब्रह्म देवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशं मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। Dear devotees of God, please turn to page number 70 in book number 1. Middle of the page, Gayo Hari Mope Jadu Dar. May I request you on the side to please move up. Thank you. Please don't leave a gap. Mope jadu dar gayo hari जादू डार गयो हरि मोपे जादू डार गयो हरि गयो हरि जादू डार गयो हरि
मुँह पे 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 जादू डार गयो हरि
मुँह पे
Everyone please sing.
डार गयो हरि
मुँह पे जादू 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 डार गयो हरि
Jagadguru Sri Kripaluji Maharaj, Sri Maharajji is describing the first meeting of the individual soul, Jivatma, with Paramatma, the Supreme Soul. A gopi is meeting with Shamsundar for the very first time, and there is a very sweet meeting between them. Every individual soul has been trying to meet with Shamsundar for uncountable lives. We have all been trying very hard to reach the goal of meeting with the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Beloved, Shamsundar. But we have not fulfilled that aim yet. Not only have we not gone closer and closer to him, but we have in fact gotten farther away from him. Shamsundar is farther than the farthest. God is farther than the farthest. That's one aspect of his. Durat sudure tadihantike cha. The Vedas say he is farther than the farthest. If you can imagine the farthest thing away from you, you can think of some planet which is farthest away from here, from Earth, then Shamsundar is even farther than that. But he's also nearer than the nearest. He is so near that we live within him, and he lives within us. Ya Atmani Tishtati, he lives within the individual soul. And the individual soul lives within him. Anand Sindhu Madhya Tav Vasa Binu Jane Kasmarat Piyasa. The individual soul lives within the Supreme Soul. He is so near to us that nothing and no one can be closer, no one can be nearer than Shamsundar. Then why have we not gotten so close to Him? Why are we going further and further away from Him? In some cases, it is because we don't have any knowledge at all. We don't have any knowledge about Him. We have not heard anything about God. We have not understood anything about God. So there's no question of getting close to Him, going near Him. But we have heard about Shyamsundar. We have listened to a genuine guru telling us about Shyamsundar. So then the possibility is that whatever we heard, we did not accept. I know it because I heard it. But knowing alone does not fix the problem, does it? Suppose a man is taking poison. He knows poison kills. He knows this. But he's still not staying away from poison. He's ingesting it. So he will die. Because knowledge must be followed by acceptance. First janana, you must know, and then manana, you must accept what you know already. Somebody asks you, oh, how did you burn your hand? Oh, I put it in fire, in the fireplace. What? Don't you know that fire burns? Well, I did know it, yes. But then I had my doubts. So I put my hand in fire. No, I know that fire burns and I accept it, so I never put my hand in fire. So first we must listen and we must get to know, and then that has to be followed by acceptance. I accept what my merciful Gurudev has taught me. There is a beast of burden, the mule. Yatha kharashchandana bharavahi bharasya vetta natu chandanasya. The mule doesn't care if someone loads bricks on its back, or dirt, or idols of God. There's a murtikar, an idol maker, and he has made these nice murtis, small murtis. He's going to sell them in the marketplace. He has put the murtis of God, he has loaded them on the back of the mule. But to the mule it doesn't matter, it's just weight. It's just a load it's carrying. All the mule knows is there's some load on my back and I have to take it to a certain destination. In the same way, if we know, if we have the knowledge, but we don't accept it, we are just like this mule, that we are carrying this knowledge in our head, but we're not accepting that knowledge. I know that Shyamsundar alone is mine. I know that. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva. I can even quote from the scriptures. I know that he alone is mine. When the Guru says, why aren't you loving him? I just know this, that's enough to know. No. We must accept what we know. You might say, I do accept it, and that's true. We do accept what our Guru has taught us. We do accept it. So then what's the problem? We don't accept it fully. We accept it partially only. We accept it a little bit, but we are not accepting it fully. So we say, Guruji, I accept what you're saying, that Sri Krishna is mine, but you say only Sri Krishna is mine. Sri Krishna is the only one who's mine, but I will accept what you're saying partially. So I will say Sri Krishna is also mine, and I have others who are mine also. My mother, my father, my siblings, and other relatives, they're mine also. So the reason we have not fulfilled our goal lifetime after lifetime is that we did not know anything. Either we didn't know anything, we didn't hear anything about God, but that is not likely. In countless lifetimes, we have heard countless times gurus telling us about God. God always sends his messengers to earth, and they don't ever tire of teaching us about God. They have nothing to gain for themselves. They come to earth as benevolent ones, benevolent teachers. They come here just to teach us. And although we malign them, we find fault with them, we put the biggest blames on them. We send them to jail. We hang them on the cross. We give them poison. We spread many nasty rumors about them, but they keep on serving us. When a devotee asks, Sri Maharaji, what is your daily schedule like? What do you do during the day, all day long? Sri Maharaji said, I do whatever it takes to take a person towards God. I do whatever it takes to take the individual towards God. That is my agenda throughout the day. Mirabai was called nasty names. She was called characterless. We've sent many, many saints to jail. We found so many faults with them. We tried to steal their scriptures. There are so many atrocities we have committed against saints. But they keep on serving us. They do not become dissuaded. They don't lose the will to serve us. So we have heard saints countless times, pure messengers of God. We've heard them. Either we didn't accept anything they said, or we accepted what they said in part. We did not fully accept what they were saying. We said, are you mad? Only Sri Krishna is mine? No. That doesn't ring true at all. Only Sri Krishna is mine, that's too drastic. Too drastic. We were intoxicated with the world, and the saints are intoxicated with God. And we thought, oh, they're mad. They're just crazy. Once Sri Maharaji went to a certain city in India, in Madhya Pradesh. It was Raigad, and Sri Maharaji gave lectures. So before Sri Maharaji started his discourses, some people said, Maharaji, the richest man in the city is so-and-so, and Seth Karodi Mal, and if you could please invite him personally. Sri Maharaji had no ego. He invited the man, sent message, I have come here to serve you. Come and accept my service. Listen to my lectures. Sethji, the rich man, did not come a single day to the lectures. But at the end, before Sri Maharaji would leave the city, he sent a few of his hangers-on. You know, if there's a very rich person, there are many hangers-on. In Hindi, we call them chamche. We should not translate that into English as spoons. They hang around in hopes that they'll get some favor from the rich man. So he sent some of his cronies to Sri Maharaji, and they said, Sethji is requesting your presence in his humble abode. The humble abode was a grand mansion, and anybody who would come to the city, he would invite them over. It was a prime minister or some Babaji, some well-known Babaji, whoever it was, they were invited to his mansion, Seva Kunj. Sri Maharaji got the invitation, and Sri Maharaji wrote a message for Sethji. And the message was this: नशा है तुझको दुनिया का, नशा है तुझको दुनिया का, मुझे है दुनिया वाले का, नशा है तुझको दुनिया का, मुझे है दुनिया वाले का, मेरा माशूक साकी है, तू आशिक खाली प्याले का. How beautiful this is. Nasha hai tujhko dunya ka. You are intoxicated with the world. So intoxicated that you didn't come a single day to hear me talk about God. and how you could uplift yourself, meaning the soul. You're so busy accumulating wealth and you have become so proud of your wealth. You are truly intoxicated. But I am also intoxicated, said Sri Maharaj. You're intoxicated with this creation and I am intoxicated with the Creator. So we're both intoxicated, but the difference is that my beloved, Shamsundar, he keeps on filling my cup. He keeps on filling my cup with nectar. And you are running after an empty cup. The world has no happiness to give. You're running after an empty cup. You're so intoxicated that you pride yourself on saying, I have no time. I'm too busy taking care of my business. So, nasha hai tujhko duniya ka, mujhe hai duniya wale ka. Mera maashook saki hai, tu aashik khali pyale ka. So saints come to this world. They suffer a lot of abuse, but they keep on serving us. They have no selfish motive to fulfill. They have nothing to gain. They have attained God. What more is there to attain for them? But they work very laboriously for us. They write scriptures, they give lectures, they give personal darshan, they explain difficult concepts. They do so much. They treat those who go to them with love, they grace the individual soul. Sometimes they grace the individual by scolding him, sometimes by embracing him, sometimes by pretending that he doesn't even exist, by becoming neutral. They do whatever it takes to lead us to our ultimate goal. So this gopi, there's a gopi, and she is telling a good friend of hers, Moh pe jadu dar gayo hari. That mischievous Shamsundar has cast a magic spell on me. So she has understood that Sri Krishna is the one and only for her. She has understood this. She has accepted it. She knows it, she has understood it, she has accepted it. She has gone to she's saying, Shamsundar has cast a magic spell on me. Her friend has told her, her Sakhi, who has been smitten with Shamsundar, this Sakhi, this Gopi, she thinks only about Shamsundar day and night, night and day. She's madly in love with Shamsundar. So she is telling this friend of hers, this Sakhi, don't ever look into the eyes of Shamsundar. Don't let your eyes meet his eyes. It's not going to go well for you if you do that. So do not ever look into his eyes. Even if you happen to just look a passing glance, don't look into his eyes. I caution you. I'm cautioning you. And if by mistake you do look into his eyes, don't listen to the sound of his flute. Just close your ear, plug your ears. And even if you do happen to hear the sound of his flute, don't talk to him. Do not make the mistake of talking to him. If he engages you in conversation, just say, look down and quietly move away from there. And do not allow him to touch you in any case. Do not do that. So this Gopi has been cautioned by a good friend who is herself smitten with Shamsundar. She is so fortunate that she has become attracted to the Supreme Lord. To love the world is a sin, whether we accept it or not. To love the world is a sin. Now we say, is it a sin to love my mother? Come on. Is it a sin to love my father? I can't believe that. Is it a sin to love my own siblings, my own wife, my own husband, my own kids? I don't believe this. God says, no, it's not a sin. But first understand who your mother is, who your father is. Are you calling the people who change with every lifetime the one who is your mother now, but you'll get another mother next time, and you had another mother in the previous life. In every lifetime, your mother is changing. Is that your real mother? The father who you call dad, father this time, he was not your father last time or the birth before this. In every lifetime, your father is changing. So are you saying that he is your real father? Are you saying that this wife that you went around the sacred fire 7 times and now she's your wife, this is your real wife? This is your beloved? It's not a sin to love your mother, father, beloved, your sister, your brother. Granted, we understand that Sri Krishna is all of that, all of those. He is the real mother, real father, the only mother, the only father, the only brother, the only sister, the only beloved, only, one and only for us. More sabhi ek tum swami, deen bandhu ur antarjami. Lakshmanji says to Bhagwan Sri Ram, you are my one and only. You are everything to me. Bhagwan Ram was saying to Lakshman, Bhaiya, don't insist on coming with me to the 14-year exile. Our father is devastated because he has to give me this instruction. He does not want me to go. He is devastated. He has fallen ill. Who will take care of the kingdom? Because if a king does not do his duty towards his subjects, after death he will reside in hell. So you need to help him. You need to serve our father in my absence. But Lakshmanji said, you are the only father I know. You are my one and only father. Ahantavan maharaje pitritvam nopalakshaye bhrata bharta cha bandhuscha pita cha me raghava. Valmiki Ramayana. You are my one and only, Bhagwan. O Sri Ram, Bhaiya, you are my one and only. Mata nasti pita nasti nasti me swajano janah. Prahlad had said, I don't know any mother, I don't know any father besides you. I don't know anyone who belongs to me. You are my one and only. So the Gopi has understood this. She has accepted this. Now she is meeting with Shyam Sundar for the very first time. Ha Jamuna asnan karan gayi.
Ha Jamuna asnan karan gayi.
Ha Jamuna asnan karan gayi.
Jamuna asnan karan gayi.
Tahara Nand Kumar gayo Hari.
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 Mo pe jadu dar gayo Hari.
Muh pe जादू डार गयो
सब लोग बोलिए, ताली बजाइए। मो पे जादू डार जादू डार गयो हरि
मोह पे जादू डार गयो हरि.
So Gopi says to her friend, I had gone to the Yamuna river to bathe. And this is something the gopis would do every day. Because there's no running water in the house. 5,000 years ago, there was no running water in the house. So the gopis would go to the Yamuna to bathe. And they would go to fill their pitchers with water for daily consumption and for so many different purposes. So I had gone to bathe in the Yamuna and suddenly I saw him there. The other gopi asked, I hope you didn't look at him. I saw him, but I remembered your words. My eyes did not meet his. My eyes did not meet his. I was careful because you had cautioned me in such strong words. So I looked at him, but only when he wasn't looking at me. She's so clever. I looked at him, but only when he was not looking at me. And when he looked at me, I would immediately avert my gaze. And this is what we all do. We're sitting down, let's say, we're on a flight, we're sitting in our seats, and then there's a person sitting next to us. Sometimes we catch a glance, we catch a glimpse, or on the subway, train. There's no subways here, so perhaps on the bus. You're going somewhere, or maybe in the mall. We look at people. It doesn't mean that we are looking at them with love or hatred. It's just curiosity, because our mind wants to see. So the mind says to the eyes, hey, look, look at this person. And so we look, but in a neutral kind of way. We all do that. So she said, I didn't allow my eyes to meet his eyes, but so I looked at him. So when he was not looking at me, and when I thought he was going to look at me, I just averted my gaze. But Sakhi, I have to say that when I saw him, I became mesmerized. I became intoxicated with that beauty. But I caught hold of myself. I didn't let his beauty affect me too much. But I have to say that I have never seen anyone as beautiful as him. I have never seen the good looks that he had. And I had the ghungat. The gopi has a veil in front of her face. And she said, I looked at him, but my eyes wanted to see him so badly that they wanted to go right through the ghungat. They wanted to go right through the veil. And I wanted to look at him more, but then I remembered your words and I thought, no, I'm going to control myself. Now Shyam Sundar, in the meantime, has resolved to grace this gopi completely. Completely. He wants to give his ultimate grace to her. But she is resisting. She's not even looking into his eyes. Shyam Sundar gives the divine love through his eyes. He gives it in many ways, but his eyes are very intoxicating. And he gives that nectar to the devotee through his eyes. And even a pure devotee of Sri Krishna, even someone who is completely saturated with love for Sri Krishna, even his eyes are very intoxicating. I will tell you about a personal experience I had once. I had seen Sri Maharajji's eyes so many times, as we all did, but that one time was unforgettable. I looked into Sri Maharajji's eyes. I just happened to look this way. I saw his eyes, and I could not believe the nectar flowing from those eyes. And I thought, what is this? I have never seen this sweetness before. And what I was doing was passing bricks to the person to my left. Then after giving that, I was turning to the right. We were doing kar seva. We were doing physical seva. and there was some construction going on. Sri Maharaj Ji was sitting on that side. Here I am standing here, and I have passed the bricks to a person to my left, and I am turning towards a person to my right, and I saw Sri Maharaj Ji. And those eyes were so intoxicating. I had never seen them like that before. So I wanted to keep on looking, but I could not keep on looking because it was too much. There was so much nectar. So I had to look away, and it just so happened naturally that I had to look away to pass the bricks to the devotee to my left. Then I had to look this way, and I looked at Sri Maharaj Ji's eyes. That experience is unforgettable. It was Sri Maharaj Ji deciding to grace me with that look. He would grace a guru who is, it would seem that Sri Krishna himself has come in his form to grace the world. So when he thought that I need to grace this one in this way, he would give that grace. So I had never seen the nectar of those eyes. Perhaps others had, I had not. But that particular time, I saw the nectar, I internalized it, and I was beside myself. What is this? I had never seen this. And I understood that this was a little glimpse of Sri Krishna's nectar. Sri Maharaj Ji was giving me just a little glimpse. So the eyes, Shyam Sundar's eyes, and Shyam Sundar's pure devotee's eyes are very intoxicating. And they give grace through the eyes. Shyam Sundar gives grace through the eyes. He gives divine love through his eyes. But he's thinking this gopi is not looking at me. She has been cautioned by her friend. So she has been stealing glances at me, but when I wanted to look at her, she would avert her gaze. But I must give her my grace, 100% grace, complete grace. So the gopi is determined not to look in Shyam Sundar's eyes, and Shyam Sundar is determined to make her look into his eyes. Let's see what happens. Who wins? Let's see. पिय दृग पिय रस रूप माधुरी
पिय दृग पिय रस रूप माधुरी
रूप माधुरी
रूप माधुरी
पिय दृग पिय रस रूप माधुरी
पिय दृग पिय रस रूप माधुरी
दृगन बचाय निहार गयो हरि
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 मों पे जादू डार गयो हरि
मों पे जादू
मोह पे जादू डार गयो हरि।
मोह पे जादू डार गयो हरि।
रस लंपट दृगपट घूंघट पट।
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 करन चाहत जनु पार गयो हरि।
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 मोह पे जादू डार गयो हरि।
मोह पे जादू डार गयो हरि।
गयो हरि।
गयो हरि।
We wonder why Shyam Sundar did not attract us in the way that he attracted this gopi. She just looked at him, did not even look into his eyes, and she became completely enamored with him. Such is the magic of Shyam Sundar that it works only on deserving souls. So many people are looking at Shyam Sundar, but one of them is looking at him as God himself. Another is looking at him as a very nice man. Still another is looking at him as a common man. Another is looking at Shyam Sundar as being very evil. Jaki rahi bhavana jaisi, Prabhu Murat dekhi tin taisi. Everyone sees Shyam Sundar differently. Shri Krishna says, Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanumashritam param bhava majananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Bhagavad Gita. O Arjun, when I descend to earth, people of the world do not recognize me. Very few recognize him to be who he is. This gopi is a deserving soul. So the moment she sees Shyam Sundar, she falls in love with him, but she is holding herself back because her good friend has cautioned her in such strong words, but she is attracted. And then Shyam Sundar spares no effort in gracing the deserving one. No matter how, he will make it possible for that surrendered soul, for that deserving soul to attain, to receive that sweetness, the unlimited sweetness that he has. When someone is deserving, God always works with them. He always makes sure that they're in the right place at the right time. A man is deserving, let's say. He is passing somewhere in a park, and he sees a great big tent over there, and he hears that someone is giving a lecture. And he says, "Oh, these lectures, I don't believe in them." But then he hears something that attracts him. Oh, that really made sense. Then he stops. He's on a bike. He stops his bike and he listens. Oh, that makes a whole lot of sense. Let me just go to the back and I will stand or sit in the back and I will listen also. So he listens. Then he goes the next day. Then he goes the following day. He keeps on listening. He cannot get enough of it. He was at the right place at the right time. He was deserving of this. This has happened to, if not all of you, then most of you. You were at the right place at the right time. You heard Sri Maharajji's philosophy, the philosophy of divine love. So when there is a deserving soul, God and Guru make their utmost effort to give that individual what he is deserving of. So this gopi is deserving and she is resisting, but Shyamsundar has made up his mind, and when Shyamsundar has made up his mind, then nothing can stop him, or no one can stop him. So what does he do? The gopi says, well, after I filled my earthen pot, my ghada, with water, I started for home. So now Shyamsundar knows that she's going home and the mission is still unfulfilled. What do I do? How do I get her to look into my eyes? Should I go over there and start fighting with her? She'll look at me? No, that's not good. What should I do? So Shyamsundar took a little pebble and aimed at the earthen pot, at the ghada, and he threw that pebble. And that pebble made a little hole in that earthen pot filled with water. So when that hole was made, the gopi heard that something has cracked the earthen pot she's carrying on her head, which is filled with water. She became so angry that she looked back. She looked back to see who this was. Who is the scoundrel who has done this? Because she's thinking, I have to go home now. All the water it's wasted. I have to go home, get a new pot, come back over here, fill it with water, then go. What a bother. And who has done this? She looked back and her eyes met with Shyamsundar's eyes. Brilliant scheme, isn't it? Who could be more brilliant than Shyamsundar? So she looked back with anger, and first she was looking angrily. Then she sees Shyamsundar, and the anger got converted into love. And now she's gazing at him very lovingly. First anger, extreme anger, and then extreme love. She did what her friend told her not to do. She allowed her eyes to meet with Shyamsundar's eyes. Shyamsundar basically forced this because he forces his grace upon individual souls. But he will give the grace any which way. So when someone sees Shyamsundar, when the deserving soul sees Shyamsundar, then what happens is that she wants to see him again and again. One thing is that she wants to see that individual soul, that blessed soul wants to see Shyamsundar again and again. And secondly, every time she sees him, his beauty keeps on increasing. His beauty keeps on increasing. And thirdly, every part of the body that she looks at seems to be the most beautiful of all. This is what happens. Three things happen. She wants to see him again and again. Secondly, every time she sees him, the beauty has increased. And thirdly, whichever part of the body she looks at seems to be the most beautiful. So this gopi is now looking into Shyamsundar's eyes, and she goes into a state of samadhi. In the path of Gyan and the path of Bhakti, there are 7 classes. And at the fifth class, at the fifth level, the devotee forgets about his physical self. So the gopi has forgotten about her physical body. Panche bhule deh sudhi. So in the fifth level, the devotee forgets about, he becomes oblivious of his own physical body. So the gopi has forgotten about herself, her body, where she is, and she's just looking at Shamsundar. She has no idea who's looking at her, looking at Shamsundar. So many people are there, they must be looking at her. Why is she staring at this boy like this? She's a married woman. Why is she looking at him like this? She has no concern with that. She's gone into samadhi, and samadhi is of many types. She's walking, but she's in samadhi. She's talking, but she's in samadhi. So this gopi is standing with this water pot on her head, which is leaking from the back, and she has gone into samadhi looking at Shamsundar. And Shamsundar also had gone into samadhi. Because remember, when God comes to earth, he not only gives nectar to the devotee, he himself tastes the nectar also. So the gopi is receiving sweetness, unimaginable sweetness from looking at Shamsundar's eyes, and Shamsundar is receiving also great amount of nectar from looking at the gopi's eyes. From the gopi's eyes, he's also tasting nectar. Because he is the giver of nectar and he's the taster of nectar as well. So both of them are in a state of samadhi. The gopi has no consciousness of herself, and Shamsundar is also lost in the gopi's love. He's also receiving great happiness and nectar by looking into her eyes as well. जब घट भरी चली घर नटवर तब,
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 चटका करी दई मार दई सखी,
चटका करी दई मार
गयो हरि, चटका करी दई मार गयो हरि,
चटका करी दई मार गयो हरि,
फूट्यो घट टूट्यो घूंघट पट,
फूट्यो घट टूट्यो
घूंघट पट, फूट्यो घट टूट्यो घूंघट पट,
फूट्यो घट टूट्यो घूंघट पट,
औचक दृग भय चार गयो हरि,
औचक दृग भय चार गयो हरि,
औचक दृग भय चार गयो हरि,
औचक दृग भय चार
गयो हरि।
मुँह पे जादू डार गयो हरि।
So this is a sight to behold. The gopi has turned around and now she is shedding tears of love from her eyes. Her eyes are shedding tears. So from the front, the gopi is shedding tears. So there's water from her eyes, from the front. And in the back, the earthen pot is leaking and there's water coming out of there. Shyam Sundar is also shedding tears. He reciprocates the love of the individual soul. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tans tathaiva bhajamyaham, Bhagavad Gita. Shyam Sundar is also crying in Gopi's love. But the Gopi's sight, the sight of the Gopi, is even more attractive because, Sri Maharaji says, because the Gopi is crying from the front and in the back also there is water flowing. So it's a unique sight of the Gopi. Sri Maharaji says in such beautiful words, Ut kripalu nagari it gagari bahat prema jaladhar. In the front, tears of bliss started flowing from the Gopi's eyes, and from the back, a stream of water started flowing from the water pot. Muh pe jaadu dar gayo hari.
मुँह पे जादू डार गयो हरि।
उत कृपालु नागरी इत गागरी।
उत कृपालु नागरी इत गागरी।
नागरी इत गागरी।
इत गागरी।
उत कृपालु नागरी इत गागरी।
उत कृपालु नागरी इत गागरी।
बहत प्रेम जलधार गयो हरि।
बहुत प्रेम जलधार गयो हरि।
बहुत प्रेम जलधार गयो हरि।
बहुत प्रेम जलधार गयो हरि।
मोह पे जादू डार गयो हरि।
मुँह पे जादू डार गयो हरि।
गयो हरि।
गयो हरि।
मोह पे जादू डार गयो हरि।
मुँह पे जादू डार गयो हरि।
बोलिए गोपी जन वल्लभ श्याम सुंदर की जय। हमारे प्रियतम श्याम सुंदर की जय। श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय। प्रेम रस मदिरा की जय। जय जय श्री राधे। जय जय श्री राधे। जय जय श्री